Hey everyone, it's late at night and I am Norman. It's been a while since I've done a video on pieces and brands to know, so I figured it was time to do another one. Tonight we're going to be covering a very varied collection. Everything from expensive to affordable, from classy to artsy, and even something that isn't even a watch. So let us begin. Tonight on my wrist is the Stova Antia. And I have this on my Veblenist strap that tapers all the way down to 14 millimeters. This thing is brilliant. It's a dark brown color, and it looks absolutely amazing. So let us begin by getting the expensive piece out of the way. I've always been intrigued by the Blancpain 50 Fathoms. I remember going to Vegas and wandering around the shops in Caesar's Palace, and there was a huge display window of the 50 Fathoms. What an amazing looking watch. Of course, they are large, and they have a date window, and they are not cheap. Nevertheless, I had to stop. I was intrigued. Now, I could have sworn that when I saw this watch in Vegas, it was $10,000. However, in looking at their site, there aren't any 50 Fathoms that are cheaper than $14,000. Now, recently, I came across the 50 Fathoms Bathyscaphe, and this watch looks absolutely amazing. The watch in question is the gray titanium case Bathyscaphe. I absolutely love the tiny little dot indices, and the colorway is just brilliant. I love the dark colored hands, the seconds hand with the red tip, and the lollipop dot. All the markers just look great, and the syringe hands are just brilliant. Everything about that dial and that bezel is just awesome. Granted, these do not have the iconic bezel that you usually see in 50 Fathoms, so that might be a turnoff to a lot of people. As for the specifications on this watch, they sell for $14,000. The case size is 43 millimeters. The case height is 13.5 millimeters. The lug width is 23 millimeters. Ugh! Not only is it an odd lug width, but that's pretty huge. The water resistance is 300 meters. I've added a link to Time and Tide's review of this watch in the description below. That's where I encountered this watch. Next up, we have a Christopher Ward. Christopher Ward is a great company. I've spoken about them in numerous videos prior to this one, and actually at one point I owned 3 Christopher Wards. The Malvern 595, the Sandhurst, and the C65 Trident. I absolutely loved them all, and wasn't happy to let them go. However, the Malvern was always outshined by my other dressy pieces. The C65 Trident was just too big for me, and the Sandhurst was kind of redundant when I got the Smith's PRS 29A. But I still respect the brand, and I love seeing the pieces that they come out with, like the Sapphire line. I really like the gray dial variant of that watch. So amazing. But this is something really exciting for the brand. Their very own in-house movement, the Caliber SH21. And they've put it inside a watch that was designed to show off and showcase this amazing movement. The watch that they put it in is the C60 Concept. And as I said, this watch was designed specifically with the movement in mind. All the bridges and the dial have been cut down to the very bare bones so that the movement itself is not obstructed. The SH21 features twin barrels, which gives this movement 5 days of power reserve. This watch is expensive for Christopher Ward, but it is a breakthrough for the company. And sadly, these are limited to 210 pieces. The specifications on this watch are: the price is $4,750, the case size is 42 millimeters, the case height is 15.9 millimeters, the lug width is 22 millimeters, and it has 300 meters of water resistance. I've added a link to a write-up that Gecko did on this watch in the description below. Be sure to check that out. I just recently stumbled upon the next watch, and what a fun artsy watch. It kind of reminds me of Project's watches. This watch is a selected by MOMA watch. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but the Museum of Modern Art really likes this watch. And actually, I do too. I love the creative indices, how they go from thin batten markers to fat as they progress around the dial. The case is black and blasted, and the dial has a matte finish. I like their use of stark colors. The whole watch is black and white. However, when you look at it from certain angles, you realize that the dial isn't quite as minimal as it appears. There are actually lines etched into the dial that continue from the markers toward the center. These watches have no date, and they have a Swiss quartz movement in them, and a limited lifetime warranty. And amazingly, the case size is only 37 millimeters, which is perfect for this style of watch. Trust me, if you buy a cylinder-cased Bauhaus watch, you do not want it in 40 millimeters. I've owned a Zeno Bauhaus hand winder, and that looked like an absolute platter on the wrist. And that was back when the smallest watch I owned was nothing under 40 millimeters. So if you're going for a Bauhaus watch similar to this style, you really want to go for 37 or 38 at most. Sadly, they do have mineral crystals on them. As for the specifications on this watch, they sell for $199, the case size is 37 millimeters, and the case height is only 6.5 millimeters. I've included a link to the Larsen Eriksen website in the description below. The next watch I recently encountered is the Delft Oospoort, or Oospoort. Oospoort. These watches have some really unique aesthetics to them, and I absolutely love the gray variant. They have tuxedo-style dials and very modern hands and indices on them. The case is both brushed and polished, which keeps them sporty and yet kind of dressy looking. These watches also come in a nice modern size of 40 millimeters. These are such great looking watches, and the translucent variant is absolutely amazing. They have a silver ring around the edge of the dial, and the center is white translucent, so you can kind of see the movement through it, including the date wheel. However, you do have to pay extra for those. Housed inside these watches is the STP-1-11 movement. As for the specifications on these watches, they sell for $868, the case size is 40 millimeters, the case height is 12.4 millimeters. They have a water resistance of 50 meters. I've included a link to the Delft website in the description below. And now for something completely different. An amazing looking watch winder that is not for the faint of heart. These things sell for $2,500. But just look at these things. These are TIE Fighter style watch winders that are made completely of machined aluminum. They're finished in black and just look awesome. Furthermore, you can control their settings and whatnot using an app on your phone. But for $2,500, I don't see myself ever spending anything close to that for a watch winder. I've included a link to wristwatch reviews write-up of these in the description below. The last watch that I want to discuss, I've included in this list because its case is absolutely brilliant. This watch is the Bristol Clubmaster, and it has a tortoiseshell case. What a cool, unique idea, and it looks so great. These feature a blue dial, and the case size is 40 millimeters. And that case is translucent tortoiseshell. So cool. However, these are quartz and do feature a mineral crystal, but they are affordable. If you like their unique aesthetics, these may be for you. As for the specifications on these watches, they sell for $163. The case size is 40 millimeters, the case height is 8 millimeters, and the lug width is 20 millimeters. I've included wristwatch reviews article on them in the description below. So there you have it, an eclectic roundup of pieces and brands that I've just recently encountered, and one watch winder. Thanks for watching.